Okay, first of all, you should know what all the parent functions are, right? You should know what all these are. You have these in your notes. You have these in the last assignment we did, okay? But you need to go ahead and label them. I'd start here. So f of x equals and I'm writing this really small so that I can have a lot of space and I can actually see what I'm looking at when I do the equation. Okay, so for absolute value is the two vertical lines with x in the middle. Quadratic is the parabola, that's the x squared, right? The cubic is to the third power. The rational is 1 over x. Square root and cubed root. So now that we know the cubed root has a 3 there, you should know that the square root has a 2 there, right? You don't have to put it there, but a lot of times it'll help you remember like what we're looking at. And then the exponential is 2 to the x. That's also sometimes written as e to the x. It doesn't matter what number you put there. If you noticed here, they use base 10. And then this one is just an example of how questions will look. Because a lot of times they'll tell you, we wrote a new equation, g of x, and they did something to f of x. And you'll just see how they change f of x, right? Now, when I'm looking at this, I want to know, like, this moves up or down. Both of these right here are vertical changes, right? So these are vertical. And vertical means that's on the outside. Okay. Same thing when I'm going right and left. Those are horizontal changes, which means that we're going to write on the inside. If you don't understand that, write it down. I'm going to show you what I mean when I start doing my examples, right? So I need to know that those two are different. Reflects over the x-axis. If it reflects over the x-axis, that is a vertical change. If it reflects over the y-axis, that's horizontal. Okay, again, vertical is outside, horizontal is inside. And this one just tells you, right? So this is outside, this is inside. And we're talking about inside the parentheses or outside of the parentheses. Okay? My suggestion is you always put the whole equation inside of parentheses. Like, for example, this absolute value of x. If I'm going to do this outside, I put absolute value of x. And then you can put that in a parentheses. Now I know I need the plus 4 on the outside. Same thing as the x squared. Put the x squared inside of parentheses. Then I have a plus 4. They didn't do that because the fraction already shows that it's separate, but I would have done it anyway. Same thing with this. Same as with this. If I have the square root of x, I'm going to put that in parentheses, then I'll add 4. X cubed, add 4. So it shows you have the original function and doing something else to it after. The log, you don't have to write the base 10 every time. Just log of x, put it in parentheses, then add 4. Now when we're doing the function notation, that one is f of x plus 4. Okay? It's the same thing for these, because now I'm just moving down 1 instead of up 4, I'm moving down 1. So it's absolute value of x in parentheses minus 1. X squared in parentheses minus 1. Okay? Same thing here, f of x minus 1. So they'll all look like that. Now, if it's moving to the right by 3, now I need the -3 on the inside of the parentheses that goes just with the x. So like if I'm doing absolute value, I'll have the x minus 3 on the inside, and then I'll do the absolute value. Notice they have that. The x squared was in parentheses. It's the x minus 3 in parentheses, then squared. This one would be x minus 3 in parentheses, and then cube it. Right? This one right here, it has to be with the x, so it's going to be on bottom. 1 over x minus 3 in parentheses. No matter what, when I'm moving to the right by 3, it's always going to be a -3 on the inside. That's what from our notes, right? The top page shows the notes. If I'm doing the square roots, it's the x minus 3 in parentheses. Take the square root of that. Cube root, no different. X minus 3 in parentheses. Take the cubed root of all of that. For the exponential, notice how the x doesn't ever move, you just put an x minus 3 instead of it. And then again, for function notation, we put the x minus 3 inside the parentheses right there. All right, if it's moving left 6, then now not much has changed, right? Like nothing really changes. I still have a x plus 6 in parentheses, but for absolute value, absolute value. So these will always look the same. X plus 6 in parentheses squared. X plus 6 in parentheses cubed. All right, and we'll do the same thing here. Now if I have a negative, so for a reflection, a vertical reflection, I got the negative on the outside of the absolute value of x. Right? So we'll do this first one. Now, this one's the only one that I would say you don't really need a parentheses like this. It's a little redundant because the absolute value acts as a parentheses. Right? But the same thing here, we got a negative x squared. I would put it in parentheses like that just to make sure, because when you put it in the calculator, sometimes your calculator will do funny stuff. Negative x cubed in parentheses. 1 over x, put the whole thing in parentheses, put the negative out there. Square root x in parentheses, and then put a negative in front. Cube root in parentheses, negative in front. All right, same thing here. 2 to the x in parentheses, negative in front. And so for this one, log in parentheses, negative in front. Finally, the f of x, negative in front. All right? If it's going to be on the inside, you got absolute value, negative x. You can put that in parentheses inside. They got the negative x squared. I got the negative x in parentheses cubed. And it matters. It changes what you're going to get. Right? It'll change the equations. 1 over x. Put the negative inside with the x. Now, if it's a vertical stretch, it's going to be on the outside. So I'm back to drawing the whole thing, then putting a 2 in front. X squared, put a 2 in front. X cubed, whoops, put a 2 in front. Square root of x, 2 in front. Right? It never changes. And same thing down here, 2 in front of f of x. If it's supposed to go on the inside, now I gotta put, like I'll start down here. Oh, I'm sorry. I put the 2. It's 1/5. Just redo it. But that goes inside with the x. All right, we skipped a few of these. Again, absolute value. I got the, man, why am I putting the 2 again? 1/5 with the x, and then take the absolute value. So I think you can fill all those in. Answer the questions on the bottom. An absolute value function that reflects over the x and moves 7 right. Reflecting over the x. Okay, what is that? That's outside. A negative outside. And when it moves right 7, moving right is inside. And when it moves right, it's -7. So when I look at this, it's absolute value, x minus 7 on the inside. So put that on the inside. Take the absolute value. And then I need the negative on the outside to get the flip. So these are combinations of transformations, right? What am I going to do when I take a cubic? Cubic is x cubed, right? A quadratic function, x squared. Reflects over the x. That's a negative on the outside. Moves right 1. So that's -1. And up, this is on the inside. And up 8 is a +8 outside. So that's a lot of stuff going on there, right? So I need x minus 1 on the inside. We're still going to square it. And then you got the negative on the outside and the +8 on the outside. So this flips it over the x-axis. This moves it right 1. And this moves it up 8. So notice how I broke it all down. I always do the inside first because I got to put the parentheses. So anything that's on the inside, that'll go first. So then I can close the parentheses and do whatever it is, x squared, x cubed, whatever. So try number 2 on your own.